In this final step, I'm going to be putting in the darkest darks on the roses, and I'm using some of the carmine with a little bit of purple. This one is totally in shadow. This one has a little bit of shadow. The interior of the rosebud is really dark right there. And then gets a little lighter. Need a little bit right there. This part is totally in shadow, so it'll be really dark. And this part of the petal that turns away will be darker. And this area over here. I'm bringing this down to represent the shadow from that petal. The same here. And I think this area right here needs to be a little darker too. Now I feel like this is a little bit too dark, so I'm going to take a chance and try to soften it back just a little bit. I'm just using water and a damp brush, and then trying to pull a little bit of the paint back so I don't have any hard edges. I just feel like that's a little too dark because the light would be shining in this area right here. And also, I believe my leaves dried much too intense, so I'm going to wet that blue. And while it's still wet, I'm going to come back in with some of the rose color, which will give it a more purple tone, pick up some of the red from the rosebud. I think I like that better. And by adding that red into that yellow, which has turned green, kind of gives me a nice little contrast. Put a little highlight on that leaf right there, just by lifting out some of the color. and a little bit on the stem. And I think we'll call this one done. Keep in mind, it's a demonstration. It's not a finished painting. I hope you've learned a little bit from this. I've enjoyed doing it for you. This is a little addendum to step 4 of our rose demonstration. After everything dried overnight, there were some things that I wasn't quite satisfied with. The colors here have faded considerably. So I'm going to go in and add another light layer of the carmine and a little bit of purple, since it's in shadow side. I'm adding it directly to the dry paper and a little bit there on the bottom. And then I'll just blend this back. This often happens with watercolors, as you're probably well aware. You never quite know whether your colors are dark enough or not. And I'm also going to come back in where I removed that bright red and put it back in. Tone down that highlight area just a little. And I think I'm more satisfied with that. Also, I did a little something off camera here. This was so abrupt that I just re-wet this area and pulled a little bit of the paint down so that it just wasn't such a squared off corner right there. There are other things that I could probably pick it apart, but I think for now we'll call it done.